Five Nights at Freddy's just got a bunch of news from the FNAF movie apparently being finished, kind of. Markiplier hints again at him possibly being in the movie. FNAF AR seems to be officially canceled, and much more news. Like the video if you're looking forward to it, but let's just get right into it. So starting off with FNAF movie news, recently, if you don't remember, it was rumored that Markiplier was going to be inside of the FNAF movie, mostly just because when he was interviewed about it, he had mentioned that there was some sort of scheduling conflict going on and that he couldn't say anything, sort of hinting at the idea of him possibly showing up as a cameo. However, recently on a live stream, he was reacting to all of the recent FNAF trailers and whatnot out of nowhere, and when somebody would ask him to react to the most recent FNAF movie teaser trailer, he would respond by pretending he didn't know what they were talking about.
FNAF movie trailer? I don't know what you're talking about. I don't know what you're talking about. I'm calling security.
And based on this clip, a lot of people have been taking it as another hint that Markiplier is possibly going to be showing up in the film. Plus, with him saying at the end of the clip that he was going to call security in a joking manner, it's now being theorized that if he does play a part in the movie, it would most likely be as some sort of security guard himself, or maybe he's referencing Mike Schmidt, but I'm not exactly sure. It could definitely be a bit of a stretch. However, another big piece of movie-related news that we got was last week on June 5th, it was actually Scott Cawthon, the game creator's birthday. And to celebrate all the birthday wishes he was getting, he made a post on Reddit saying, "Hey everyone, I just wanted to take a moment to say thank you for the birthday wishes yesterday. I'm an old man now, can't believe it's almost been 10 years with FNAF. But again, thank you. I got to see the first rough cut of the movie a couple days ago, and I think it came together in an amazing way. Very excited for you all to see it in October." So yeah, Scott basically told us that he, as the creator, got to look over the very first draft of the movie in a fully finished rough cut state. Or in other words, the movie was put together and was probably slightly edited a bit to present to Scott and other people to see what they think before spending the next few months editing and polishing the full version. But it's crazy to think that there is a full version of the movie out there in the world, and let's just hope that it doesn't get leaked. Also, based on this post, Scott seemed to be extremely happy with the way that the movie was turning out so far, which is absolutely amazing to hear in my opinion, because if you've been following the FNAF movie for a while now, you know that Scott is notoriously incredibly critical when it comes to his own movie. Just check his Reddit post that shows just some of the failed movie script ideas. And so it's not like Scott is just saying this stuff just to say it. He's apparently really happy with the movie, because otherwise he'd probably scrap the entire thing. So with that being said, I'm actually looking forward to it more and more, despite the controversy around the character's red eyes and alleged PG-13 rating. Which, speaking of which, the teaser trailer for the movie recently started to get dubbed into other new languages and countries as well, like Italian. And the rating for the movie trailer in Italy, according to Johnny Blocks, is supposedly MIC6+, which he says is equivalent to the PG rating in America, although I couldn't find anything online, which, if true, would actually be even lower than PG-13. So now I'm very intrigued to see what the movie will end up being rated now, if the trailer itself hardly has any violence rating at all, if I'm being honest. Also, in terms of leaks, there has been some costume leaks from extras in the film as well, showing their outfits in full, including the employee uniforms, which actually look pretty good in my opinion, although the logos on the hats look a bit weird. But one final piece of FNAF news is that the William Afton actor Matthew Lillard was supposed to do an interview yesterday discussing the movie on Game Jolt, hopefully to discuss the process and maybe reveal a few things about it, especially since up until this point he's been relatively quiet. However, this interview, scheduled for June 9th, has actually since been delayed to an unknown release time, with Lillard himself saying he had to delay it due to a scheduling conflict, but no worries because he always comes back, which is a fun way of announcing the delay. But make sure to subscribe here so you don't miss that interview when it finally does drop. Also, one final thing, movie posters have started showing up in public, which is super cool, although I haven't seen one myself yet. But moving on from the movie news, something I wanted to cover real quick that I missed is a couple weeks ago at this point, we also got ourselves an announcement for Five Nights at Freddy's Help Wanted 2. I'm sure you saw the teaser trailer already, but this new one is set to take place around Sister Location, continuing off the original Help Wanted, which in my opinion is probably the best idea, because a lot of the Help Wanted missions are very similar to the missions we play in the base Sister Location. So a VR mini port or even just a full-blown recreation would be absolutely insane. Plus, the one jump scare we saw in the trailer looks cool, and that's supposed to come out later this year. But this is just a teaser, and we probably won't hear much about it for another little while. Another small update that I also thought was interesting is that Steelwood Studios has actually launched themselves a Twitch channel as we get closer and closer to the release month for the long-awaited Ruin DLC, which there is still no full release date on, and presumably this new Twitch channel will hold some sort of community live streams and possibly even some announcements to build some hype and buzz for the DLC. However, the big topic that I wanted to discuss today is that Five Nights at Freddy's AR or special delivery seems to be completely canceled now. See, if you don't remember, a few months ago we covered that the Five Nights at Freddy's AR creators, Illumix, seemed to be subtly abandoning the FNAF AR franchise, with their last update to the game being well over a year ago at this point, back in late 2021, as back in 2022 the creators completely removed any mentions of FNAF AR and rather were focusing on other AR projects out of nowhere, causing people to think that the project was completely abandoned. They even made new social medias like this fully brand new Twitter page that is sort of inactive to this day. However, all of these rumors would seemingly be shut down in late 2022 when the developers would begin to start re-promoting FNAF AR on their website again, reportedly showing off renders and referencing the game as if they were still working on it for some reason. However, while things have been mostly silent up until this point and there still haven't been any more updates, we just yesterday got some brand new news on the game, and well, it isn't great. So Illumix completely deleted their YouTube channel and all their videos on FNAF AR along with it, removing any mentions of it from the YouTube. And while I don't know when it happened, if we go to their website nowadays, there's also no longer any sort of mention of FNAF AR ever existing again. Now, for obvious reasons, this has started a crazy amount of controversy in the community, or better yet, just sheer disappointment. Now, to be straight, I never really played much of FNAF AR or even really liked it. It's very much a gimmicky game that had its run when it came out and sort of wasn't talked about too much since. However, the problem that I have with this cancellation is that there was still a ton of people who were waiting for brand new content to come out. And in fact, it's not like the developers ever came out and said that the game was canceled or over. They literally just released their last update, and that was basically the last we heard about it. And it's genuinely frustrating to see a community just completely be thrown into the fire by their own developers, and instead of coming out and saying that they were done with the game, they've just chosen to keep running away from it for the past year. And the reason why they did this, to be honest, is still completely up for speculation, and I can't even really find an answer that makes sense. Maybe they were scared if they told the fans it was over, they would all get angry and riot against them or something. Or maybe they simply just didn't like FNAF AR and wanted to remove their name from it so it wouldn't be on their portfolio anymore. But even that doesn't really make much sense to me, because FNAF AR was an incredible success for what it was. It is literally still to this day in the top 20 free adventure apps on the App Store entirely, despite it being completely abandoned for literal years at this point. And the community the game had, while not as big as the other games, was still pretty large as well. It's just really weird to see a company who worked with Scott and FNAF to just completely leave it behind, and it's not like the company has gone defunct or anything like that either. Their Twitter account, before also being abandoned as late as December last year, was active and would keep posting, even holding a live stream on their Twitch, where people even reported literally getting banned for asking about FNAF, which is very odd. And the company even has other ties with other larger companies outside of FNAF, like Disney, based on their pinned tweet, so this isn't just some small company that did this. They were and still are a very popular AR company that just for some reason has left everybody in the complete dark. And while you can still download the game to this day, there's basically no reason to, because there's going to be no updates. And from the way I see it, for one reason or another, the developers would rather ditch the entire community than give a proper explanation, which gives me an idea on where their priorities are. But on the positive side, the back half of the year is filled with massive FNAF news, from the movie to Help Wanted 2 to the Ruined DLC. And to stay up to date on all of that and more, subscribe here, and peace out, guys.